Welcome back to Mystic Like My Mama, a podcast presented by Ask Penjie. I'm Isabella, and this is my mama, Tina, and we are a mother-daughter duo and the co-founders of Ask Penjie. In this show, we'll talk about accessing your intuition and how we integrate ancient wisdom into our modern lives. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
This week was super fun. We had so many things going on in our Ask Penjie world, but just in life, we were very busy.
We've been expanding a lot. We've been doing a lot of events. We've been really like a lot of growth,
A lot of growth, a
a
lot of
lot of
growth.
pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone.
hmm A lot of work, but very exciting and very fun. We started the week off with participating and having a little vendor booth at our favorite nonprofit's annual fundraiser, Uplift Youth Foundation. And that was super fun because Uplift is a big part of my world. I am a yoga teacher and mentor through them and getting to like merge our two little worlds, Ask Penjie and Uplift all together. It was so fun.
It was so awesome. You were like playing two different roles, like two different people. You were like doing stuff for the event and for Uplift, and then I was like setting up the table, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, it looks so nice." And I said, "Yeah, but it's not finished until Isabella comes and like does her like, finishing touches and helps me kind of like organize everything." And it was so beautiful. It was at like this really beautiful like five-star resort, and
The
everyone was so
venue
nice.
was the venue was incredible.
Honestly, everyone at the venue was so nice. Like they were
Uh-huh.
so helpful. And there were a couple times where I wanted to like walk away from my table or something. And there were like a couple guys that were working there and they
Mhm.
were so sweet. They were like, "Oh, I'll watch all your stuff. Like, don't worry, and things like that." And just, it was just so fun to be a part of it,
It
because we've
was
been
so
a
great.
part of Uplift for so long. This was the first time we brought this to like an event and participated. And I was really grateful. It was so exciting and
It
everyone
was
was so
so
sweet.
cool. I loved running back and forth and doing the behind the scenes and getting to be a part of our stuff and then also the mentor stuff and going back and forth. And I was so surprised and so excited by how well received it was. Like our booth was packed the entire time. Like
It,
everyone kept coming over and they were like, What's going on over here?" And then everyone else was telling me they were like, "Oh my God, your table's like really busy. People keep coming through." And
it was
it was so fun.
exciting. It
Yeah.
was really exciting and it was really special. And we met so many wonderful people and we reunited with so many people that we
Mhm.
know. And I think the coolest thing is we did this very first activity that we've been wanting to do. We actually did something really unique this time where we had these little microphones and we were asking people, well, it was your idea, but we were asking people like, are you willing to do a reading like on the air, right? You get like one question and we record it and use it on social media. So we had to like
Mhm.
make sure we got people's permission. But then we soon realized that people can go very deep. I can go very deep with them very fast, like very quickly. So we had to figure out what could be recorded and used and what like right away we're like, oh, okay, we need to cut it.
Cut, cut,
This
cut.
we're like cut. Like this is getting
Yeah.
private. We don't want to air that for somebody and we want to honor people's, privacy and stuff.
No, it was such a good dance because we normally all of our sessions and readings we do with Ask Penjie are private and everything's confidential. But for this environment and like it was such a fun activity and space, I was like, okay, this is the perfect place if we're gonna get content. This is where we should do it. Um, but it was so funny because I had to be like, as the camera girl, be like, okay, I'm watching, be like, okay, this was a good question. We can get that. Oh, it's good. Okay, they're not gonna want this. I gotta cut. Gotta stop recording now. So it was such a fun
Yeah.
balance, but also people were such good sports. Like they were so excited to be a part of it, and
They were. They loved
it was
it. Honestly,
yeah.
well, we've done readings like on social media, like on
hmm
Instagram, or I've done it like on a live, but then I always, make sure that they understand that obviously, like, and we've also done group readings when we have like Ask Penjie Society, where like those are confidential, but still in
hmm
front of a group. But this was
Yeah.
just something new that we tried and it went over really well. And
hmm
it's amazing how exciting it is. So, like, we did a card reading and somebody would pick a card, and then we did like Penjie questions, and it's just like, it's really fun because we're figuring it out as we go as well. We're trying to see what people need most. We're trying to see what works best and, be very intuitive about how we decide what we do and which activity. But yeah, but it was awesome and it was really cool. And people were excited to learn about our podcast and everybody we told, they were like, "Oh my God, I want to listen." So that was cool. We made like a little QR code where people could just scan it and they can like tune into the YouTube channel. So yeah, it's pretty
It was
exciting.
really fun. It was so exciting. I loved seeing all the love and support and encouragement from all these beautiful people that mean so much to us. And it was fun because it's like Uplift is my second family. It's my home. So it was like I was like, ooh, we're in the OG stomping grounds doing our thing with our
It
new
was awesome.
business.
And you know what's so fascinating to me is that I'm finding out that there's just people of all different ages are interested in Penji. Like, so people are
Mhm.
so supportive, but at this particular event there were like a lot of kids that were interested, and I love that. And I want everyone to know, like, we would not do any readings without like a parent's permission. If you're
Mhm.
under 18, like you cannot um do that with us. You have
Yeah,
to have a
like
parent's
consent, all
permission.
this important
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But they love it and they're interested, and I think we don't give young people enough credit of
Hmm.
how intuitive they are, and how reflective they are, like how many questions they have, and things like that. So it was really beautiful.
Totally. I mean, and think about it. I grew up doing it and asking Penji, and
Hmm.
like I grew up with all this stuff, and so many kids like we don't give them enough credit for how sharp they are and how smart they are, and they have deep questions, and they already have fears and things that are bothering them, and like somebody might think, oh, you're 10, like what do you care about? But I always had stuff that was on my mind or bothering me or wanted clarity about, so it's just as important at any age, I think. I think
Yeah.
it's actually really important at that age because you start
Yeah.
to build the habits of like
Mhm.
asking questions.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. It was beautiful for them to learn how important their intuition is and the
Hmm.
role that it plays and everything like that. And they were literally like fascinated by it. So I loved that. We met some great people.
It was
Are
really
you
fun.
ready to do the card reading?
Yes, I am.
It's so funny. I was going to ask it before I even knew that you grabbed it.
I was locked and loaded.
Yeah.
I was preparing for our next segment for
Amazing.
our
Okay,
weekly card pull.
weekly card pull. Okay, you guys. So I want everyone, this is a collective reading. So we're going to
Mhm.
have you kind of just take a deep breath. Tune in, put your right hand over your heart if you want, kind of focus on a question that you have, a concern, something that you're facing and dealing with, some situation in your life that you would like some guidance and clarity for. And then Bella's going to knock 3 times on the deck to
I love
insert
it.
our energy.
And once again, we have our beautiful Dreamy Moons deck. And if you want to get your own, the link is in the description of our YouTube video. If you're watching, if you're listening, it's code Ask Penjie for 10% off.
Yes,
Ooh, one flew out.
and it is actually the cosmic guidance deck.
Yes. Let's see. Let's see.
Did it fall on the floor?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, okay. The sun.
Ooh, the sun. Show us. Oh, it's beautiful. What does it say at the bottom?
So pretty. The sun has a little face, little lips, little eyes. It says the sun, conscious mind, masculine life force. Let's
Mm.
see. Um, as a lot of people know, the sun and the moon represent different energies, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with gender. Sun is masculine, divine energy, and then the moon is often divine feminine energy. But we both carry both divine, feminine and masculine energy within us, like yin yang. And so let's see what it has to say.
Okay, amazing.
The sun, conscious mind, masculine life force. There is a sun within every person, Rumi. The sun invites you to connect with your divine masculine energy. All genders have a mixture of feminine and masculine energies within them. See, see, see? And it constantly changes depending on the situation and circumstances. The sun has been linked to masculinity as it is associated with endurance, action, and energy. The sun is bright and always blazing, representing strength and power. The divine masculine energy is patient, rational, honest, strong, but gentle. He is emotionally balanced, supportive, mindful, assertive, and confident. Your divine masculine comes through when you take the lead, take action, and use your logical mind. Some exercises include taking the lead, practicing being more present and listening mindfully, being like an active listener, practicing self-responsibility, admitting when you're wrong, owning your actions, and examining your negative conditioned beliefs surrounding masculinity and what that means for you, or what a man should be, or what masculinity should look like. The affirmation is, I am fully present and mindful. I am comfortable to take initiative and act on what I desire.
I love this card because I am always working to remind myself that I want to be aware and balance these two energies, the masculine and the feminine energy, and like where am I using which energy for,
Hmm.
what am I building, what am I creating, how am I feeling, things like that. So I love it. It's just like a beautiful, gentle reminder to have awareness over those two energies.
So take this card as a little reminder throughout your week to take some action, take responsibility, do something cool. You never know what could come out of it.
Yes, amazing.
Our theme for today's episode is how do we know how to best support our loved ones when they're going through something emotional?
Right. Or they like have a problem in their lives or something like that, and we're trying to be supportive. And I think some of the time we don't really know how to show up for people. We don't
Hmm.
know how to best handle the situation. And we want to make sure that sometimes we can like ask the person like what do you need, right? So this is something we have learned sort of in our family and like how to support one another with emotions and difficult situations and kind of like how to show up for each other. And I do not know the origin of where I heard this. So shout out to anyone if this originated somewhere for someone, but I'm going to call it the three H's. I don't know if that's what it was like referred to, whatever, but when someone that we love is going through something and you want to be there to support them, sometimes we don't know how to show up. We don't know how to best support them. We don't know how to intuitively like read the room or figure out.
Hmm.
Sometimes we don't even know what we need, right? But sometimes what I think we can do when somebody is in an emotional situation or having a problem. So when you guys were much younger, and again, I don't know the origin of this or like how we came up with it, but I really loved the concept and I was calling it the three H's. So I heard it somewhere, but it really helped me to figure out what role that I could play in helping somebody feel better and support them. So the three H's are helped, heard, or hugged. So when you see somebody going through something, obviously not when they like can't talk or they're like hysterical or something like that, or the, super emotional or crying, you're not going to sit there and say, well, what do you need? What can I do? Right? They might, they might need your presence, but and you might have to figure it out. But I think sometimes we can actually tune in and we can ask our loved ones, do you need to be helped, heard, or hugged?
Hmm.
Right? Because that way we know how we can show up for them. So, like, there's times that we don't want solutions. We just want to be heard. We want to be witnessed. We want to be validated. Also, like, if you're really mad or you're really emotional, I mean, I learned that with you really young, but I didn't know. I was like, come here, baby. Let me hold you. Let me hug you. And you're like, no, like, I don't need that right now. And I was like, what? You don't like that? And I didn't understand the concept, of
Yeah.
like that people need different things when they're, like you're feeling that energy and maybe you don't want to be touched,
Yeah, a
and
good example for me is that I a lot of times try to help like fix the problem for people.
Mhm.
So right away, if someone's sharing their emotion or their struggle, I'll be like instantly action like let's fix it. Like how can I help you? What's going wrong? And you would always remind me, Bella, sometimes you just need to vent. Sometimes someone just needs to be heard. Sometimes you just gotta listen, and you can't necessarily fix it for them. They just have to get it out, and maybe they'll find clarity, maybe they won't, but they just need to be heard.
Well,
And
also, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just had a thought. Also, it's sometimes the order of the help. Like sometimes you need to be heard first. You need to let it out. You need to kind of like deal with the emotion and then you can come up with a solution because I love the quote. They say it's like Abraham said it, but also like Albert Einstein. So who knows who said it? But it's this quote that says you can't solve a problem from the same consciousness that created it. So when you sit down with someone and they're telling you about the problem, the solution is not in that same moment. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't
yeah,
exist in that same frequency in that moment. So sometimes you just need to actually like get it out and share what you're going through and then together you guys could come up with it. But you really have to ask for permission because I mean, I think sometimes there's a difference between men and women. Like, in the past, it was kind of a problem also because daddy would do that too. Like what you were saying, like he would go straight to the solution. And I
Hmm.
would kind of say to him, you're bypassing all the feelings, you're bypassing all the emotions. Like sometimes you have to get the emotions out for the solution to even appear. And sometimes people don't even need a solution. Like, sometimes people, they always say we don't necessarily need someone to come in and solve things for us, but we need them to be next to us as we solve it ourselves. And,
Yeah. And I
like,
think, yeah, yeah, keep going.
no, so I was just going to say that, like, we don't always want like unsolicited advice, right? We just want to tell someone, like, oh my God, the worst thing happened. And we want someone to say, oh my God, what happened?
Yeah.
Right. And then you
Just to be
tell
heard.
them, and then you find out what they thought about it before you
Hmm.
tell them what you think. And the issue is that sometimes it's hard for us to learn that skill that you were talking about of active listening. Remember from reading from the card
Hmm.
pull?
Yeah.
And this is a way I think that we could remind ourselves the three H's. We can remind ourselves how to show up for people. Like,
Let's do the H's.
okay, so it's asking someone, like you call someone, right? And you're like, listen, I really need to talk. Something happened, and you say to them, you're kind of like asking, what do you expect of me, right? Like, how can
Right,
I
but what are
best
the
show up?
three H's?
Yeah, so you're kind of like saying, how can I best show up for you in this situation? Do you need to be helped, heard, or hugged? And obviously, when you're like not in person, like if it's over the phone, it wouldn't be hugged, but maybe it would be just held, like, like,
Yeah, like the space, the energy.
yeah, and, like held emotionally,
Hmm.
things like that. But it's just a good way for us to remember not to jump to solutions, not to jump, because a lot of people like to give unsolicited advice, and a lot of people would say, well, I think you should do this. And a lot of people will say, well, if I were you, I would do that. And you're like, well, I didn't ask you. Like, I didn't ask for help.
Also, I think so many of us, unconsciously help people the way we want to be helped. And we all do this, right? It's just natural because your experiences with that emotion is based on your experience. So when you see someone going through it, you think, oh, they probably need what I need or what I want. But the crazy truth is they don't always. They need something else. So
Yeah.
when you ask, so then you could be trying to help, but because it's not what they want or need, it's not really supportive for them. So by doing this, by asking like, wow, like how can I support you? What do you need personally? Then you are actually helping them because it's what they need in the moment rather than
Yeah,
what
it's
you're
not
just
coming
assuming.
exactly. It's not coming through your filter and your experiences and your past,
Yeah.
and you might have some great guidance and some great intuition, and you might have some great feedback, but it's really nice if it's permission based, because like I know for a fact when you guys were little, sometimes I didn't know to do this. I learned this when you were really young, but sometimes before that I didn't know to do it. And I remember you guys sometimes saying, like, you're not listening. And I'm thinking to myself, but I'm totally listening. Like, I am listening. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I couldn't not
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
But what you guys meant, I think, was like, but you're not hearing me. Like, you're not helping me in how I need to be helped, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's really hard to learn, but it's really hard to honor people's emotions. It's really hard to figure out how to show up and how to be there for people. And I just think that we're learning so many things now. We're learning like, and sometimes, to be honest with you, that's something that I would even have used Penji for in the past. Like, because maybe that person doesn't know. So I would ask, like, what's the best way for me to show up? Right? Like,
Right. Or even if you're with a loved one and you're somebody, if Penji's integrated into your life, like, and you both know about it, you could even be, or if it's your child, you could even ask, like, hey, let's ask, like, do you need to be held, hugged, heard? Like, and then, you get an answer because sometimes you don't know.
right. And you have to remember, we're not talking about when somebody is like screaming and crying or in an emotional state, right?
Yeah.
Like the very
That's,
first thing, you can't talk and you can't be logical when somebody is like super emotional or
yeah.
something like that. So this is for when there is, a calm situation, somebody wants to talk about something, somebody brings something to your attention. And I think it's really just going deeper of trying to
Hmm.
figure out how to best support the people that we care about, because
Yeah.
whether it's a friend or a family member or a coworker or something like that, we also have to figure out what the reason why it helps us too, how to show up, is because we have to know what we're capable of. Like, we might not have it in us or have the capacity or the time or something to help someone the way that they need to be helped. So like say you also have to figure out timing. So say for instance somebody says, I actually do need help. And you're like, "Well, listen, I'm running out the door. I literally have 3 minutes. Um maybe we could talk, maybe we should talk later so I can really give you the time that you need to figure
Yeah,
out that
like,
problem."
or like, do you need a hug right now? I have time for a hug. I could hug
Yeah.
you quick while I run out the door, and then we could talk about it when I get back.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like knowing, yeah, seeing what lands and what doesn't. But I think the reason this topic is so important and thinking about this because like if you think about it, every single time, like all day long we're having conflicts or people are venting to us or your friend is talking about something that they experience or something that's hard. And most of the time we're just guessing. We're just guessing like what do they need me to be? Like do you just want to vent? Do you just want to complain? Are you upset? Do you need me to help you solve this problem? Do whatever. And half the time or all the time we're guessing. So like being able to ask somebody first of all to know what to ask because you can't ask if you don't know this. Like if I didn't hear what you just said, the three H's, I'd be like, I don't even know what to ask this person of how to support them. But having this idea that you can be like, okay, I know these are like three categories of someone either needing me to hold space, someone needing, just something physical like a hug, or they actually want help, right? Or just to be heard and held. I already said that, held space. But it makes it so much like not I don't want to say straightforward because emotions are never straightforward and it's always complicated, but having a little like cheat sheet or guidebook or something like this when something actually comes up allows you to be equipped to help somebody or to
Yeah.
support your friends.
And you guys can get creative. You can think of more H's and you can get creative. We're just introducing you to something that has worked for us and it's really kind of helped us like be there for each other and be supportive based on what people actually need.
It's not like a dorky thing where you have to be like the three H's, this. It's like it's more like you know them and you have the cheat sheet in your head. You don't have, I mean, because if I was upset and somebody was like, "Do you want to do one of the three H's right now?" I would probably like go flying across the room. I'd be like, "What
Yeah.
are you talking
No,
about?"
we don't even do it like that. We just kind of
No,
also,
that's what I'm saying. Like we
yeah.
don't like you're not only offering someone a menu. It's just like you have it in your head. You're like, okay, do you need me to listen to you? Do you want a hug?
Yeah,
Do
but
you
and when someone's emotional, they might not even know what they need, but if you have that list, this tool in your head, then you might be able to just think like, gosh, I wonder what they need based on what they're saying. You guys, this is what I was saying about it not being like official and you can add other H's or other letters if you want. It was just a good way to remember it, but don't even get me started on my fourth H that I figured out many times with is yours Isabella because I would be like, "Oh my God, I think she's freaking out because she's hungry." That's the fourth H.
Uh-huh, the
So
secret forbidden fourth H.
yeah, so it's like it's just something again, we have to have these tools in our toolkit. We have to figure out because there's so many times when I myself would know that I want to help, right? And we think we're helping. That's another H. We're helping, right? Like, well, that's one of the H's, helping. I don't know what I'm saying, but we think that we're helping someone, but it's not helping them because it's not what they need. It would almost be
Yeah.
like giving somebody, like a banana, right? When they're thirsty. It's just you kind of have to like communicate. You kind of have to figure out what do people need. And everyone thinks they're helping, but a lot of times it's not helpful. And that's why people get mad. They're like, that's not what I wanted. And you're just, they get like annoyed or they get bothered or they get more upset or because they don't even know what they need. I think it's just really useful. It's just good for good communication. It's, good for our relationships to be able to have this awareness and,
Hmm.
it's not a perfect science, but it will give us a way to connect, with our loved ones to show that we want to be supportive. And I think it's really great to support people how they need to be supported.
I agree. That's the main takeaway from this. It's that we have to see we have to ask how someone wants to be supported because just because we're, doing something or picking randomly doesn't mean it's necessarily going to help. So the best way to help someone is to see what they need in that moment. And it's going to be different every time. Because that's another thing. I thought that if I know somebody, I'll be like, oh, based on their track record, I kind of know like this is the thing that they usually need. But that's the other thing moment to moment, experience to experience, that same person might need something different. So it's good to always stay focused on noticing. And again, it always comes back to awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really
Emotional
helped
and
us, hasn't
yeah,
it? It's helped
yeah.
us to,
Sorry.
I was just going to say, it's really helped us to communicate better and to be there for each other because, sometimes you just might literally be showing up wrong. And then you don't want someone to put you in a category of like, oh, they do this every single time. They're just like not there for me and they just can't support me the way that I need. But it's not fair because we can't read minds.
Yeah,
And
you have to be able to ask, and on the other end, being the person in the situation, you have to be able to have the awareness of noticing what do I need? Because, like we said, sometimes you don't know, but that's a skill too. If you can start to notice what you need moment to moment, you can build better connections and relationships because a lot of times people can't read minds. So if you can't say what you need, the other person can't show up for you the best way that you need them to. So that's like the other half is if you're in that role, learning how to know what you need for different situations is game changer.
yeah, absolutely. I love it.
So good. All boils down to emotional intelligence is building good awareness.
Yeah. And it helps with your relationships.
Now it's time for check in chat where we answer your questions from a more mindful or intuitive perspective.
So the question we were asked this week are, can my emotions interfere with my Penji readings? Okay, so the answer is yes. Your emotions can completely affect your Penji readings, which is why in our three-step method, the very first step is to learn to pause, which is where you have the ability to align your emotions and kind of, whether you hold your crystals or you jump around or you do a dance or you put music on. It's very important the energy that you bring to the space of using your Penji. So
Yeah.
I love that question. Yes, your emotions can completely affect your readings.
Absolutely, which is also why something that we like to do is to not necessarily fact check, but Penji at different times. So if you have a big decision you're making and you think your emotions might be interfering with it, you can Penji it, when you're emotional and doing it. But then a couple hours later, maybe you feel more collected, ask the same question again. See if you get the same answer. Just verify your own question because throughout the day, or especially if it's a big question or something you're just emotional about, you're going to have different feelings going in and out. So when you are emotional, I'd say do the pause, try to align your energy, but also fact check it, verify later, ask again when you're
I
feeling.
love that idea. Yeah, that's actually perfect. Yeah, we do that
We
actually.
do
That's
do that. We
yeah,
do that.
we do that. That's a really good idea. So,
So good.
all right, you guys, moving on to our crystal of the week. I want to show you this beautiful. Look how pretty that is. I love like all the lines in it,
So
but
pretty.
this is a crystal called
If
carnelian.
you're listening on audio only, you're missing out.
Oh. Oh
Stunning.
yeah.
So
Sorry you
I'll
guys. Are
describe it. I'll describe it. It's ombre, a dark burgundy at the top with a light orange tip at the end, and it's going through itself like waves of lava.
It's really pretty. Carnelian. This is a root chakra um, crystal. This is for your
Mhm.
root chakra, your chakra. So this crystal protects against envy and fear, and it helps with stability and like it's very good for like the energy of your home, and it increases your like personal power and your compassion and creativity. And I think it's really cool. Something about carnelian that I really love is that it says it used to be used to protect the dead on their journey into the afterlife.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Like historically, like how they used
So,
to use it.
so maybe it's a good crystal for transitions. Like as
Yeah,
it it's represents like foundation, like the base chakra, the root.
yes, yeah, absolutely. Carnelian also grounds your energy and sort of anchors your energy into the present moment. And the thing that I love best about it too is for this particular topic is that it helps you learn to trust yourself.
Ooh.
Which is everything that we're doing with Penji is helping you to overcome self-doubt and trust yourself more and trust access your intuition. But it is very good for like kind of grounding and stabilizing your energy, and that is the energy of the root chakra. So that's our crystal of the week, carnelian.
I love it.
So we just want to share what we're talking about, just in case you guys want to see it. And I know those on audio are not going to be able to see it. You're going to have to hop over to the YouTube channel and subscribe.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, please. But anyway, we just want to introduce you to Penjie. This is our Penjie. This is a pendulum that we created ourselves. So like
Custom designed, handcrafted, woman-owned company, designed by us. This is our first, this Penjie you're seeing now is part of our first limited edition collection, and we're gonna have multiple collections with different designs and looks. And if you want to get one from our
we
first
still have
collection,
we
we
still
still
have
have
some of
some.
these though.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and our Penjie actually has clear quartz, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's made up of three stones. It's clear quartz, and then you see kind of like the yellow goldish stone is
Mm-hmm.
citrine. We haven't done citrine yet for Crystal of the Week, but we
I
will.
love it.
And then
And
here is blue goldstone.
I love blue goldstone. It's so pretty. It looks like a little galaxy space
Hmm.
within a crystal. But if you're ready for your own Penjie, and your Penjie acts as your key to everything that we're building with Ask Penjie Society, where we meet weekly and we'll have all kinds of offerings and communities where you can
It
learn how
literally
to use your Penjie
it literally has the key.
intuition. It
Yes,
has the key.
we
The
meet
key.
every week. This key gets you into Ask Penjie Society,
Hmm.
which is our community, which is our sacred space, our sacred confidential space where we gather and we are building community. And
It's part of our mission, our magic, everything we want to share and build and offer to the world. So to get your very own Penjie, you can either DM us on Instagram at AskPenjie or email info@askpenjie.com, which is AskPenjie.com. We have them available and ready if you DM us, and then you can jump right into Ask Penjie Society. Once again, remember to rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, hit that little bell so you're notified for our next episode, and follow us at Ask Penjie on Instagram to stay up to date on everything we got going on. And once again, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode, and we'll see you next week on Mystic Like My Mama.
bye.
Bye, you guys.